Welcome into the Turn Fantasy Golf Podcast Sunday Stroll Edition. My name is Andrew Putters. I'm here with my partner in crime, Joe Nicely, and we're here today on the Sunday Stroll Edition to talk about football. But before we do, let's talk about a new partner we have on the podcast, and that is Thrive Fantasy. Come prop up on Thrive Fantasy this season. Thrive Fantasy is a daily sports fantasy app for player props. They have eliminated the need to do countless hours of research because they only ask about the top-tier athletes in respective sports. For NFL, like this show, choose 10 out of the 20 player prop options to build your lineup. Each prop has fantasy point total associated with the over and under based or its likelihood to occur. The more points you select, its worth is riskier it is. Rack up the most points and win in a share of prizes. Thrive has awarded over $1.4 million in prizes since launching in 2018 and has a $50,000 guaranteed prize every week for the NFL. Use the promo code The Turn when signing up today and receive up to $50 in bonuses on a 100% match on your first $50 deposit. Download Thrive Fantasy on the App Store or Play Store by visiting their website, thrivefantasy.com. Sign up and prop up today. Thrive Fantasy Sports, guys. That is the prop. It's a prop app for fantasy. Joe, have you looked into this at all yet? I looked into it. It looked pretty cool.
Yeah, man, it's really cool. Super impressed with what Thrive's doing over there. Definitely would recommend that you go download the app. Like you said, they'll match your deposit up to $50. So it's instant. You get the $50 right then. Use promo code The Turn when you do that, and I think you guys will like it. If you like fantasy sports, DraftKings, I think you'll really enjoy this. It's kind of a blend of DFS and prop betting, so it's really cool. And hope you go check out the Thrive Fantasy app.
Absolutely, like I said before, it's like the prop degenerate in us will love this app. So we're going to check it out. We're going to play it. We encourage you to do also. And, it's like anything else. It's new, so there's not a ton of people out there playing it, not a ton of professionals out there playing it. So get in there and win some money before everybody figures it out.
Exactly.
So let's get into week 2 of NFL, and I'm going to just go down through the line here. Start Thursday night. We had the Cleveland Browns beat the Cincinnati Bengals 35-30. Then we'll move on to Sunday. Chicago beat the New York Giants 17-13. Dallas in a miraculous comeback with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter over the Atlanta Falcons 40-39. Green Bay Packers beat the very disappointing and we'll have a new coach and GM soon, Detroit Lions 42-21. Tennessee hold off Jacksonville 33-30. Colts just dominate the Minnesota Vikings 28-11. Bills in a scare against the Dolphins 38-28. San Francisco crushed but lose their quarterback in the 31-13 over New York Jets. Los Angeles Rams throttle the Philadelphia Eagles 37-19. Pittsburgh Steelers hold off Denver Broncos 26-21. Tampa Bay Buccaneers win a never close one over the Panthers 31-17. Same way at Arizona over the Washington football team 30-15. And probably the best game of the weekend, the Kansas City Chiefs over the Los Angeles Chargers 23-20. The Baltimore Ravens dominate the Houston Texans, and there's a lot of problems in Houston. And it's not just the coaching staff, 33-16. And then Seattle beats New England. New England did not have answers for Mr. Russell, 35-30. Right now we got going on halftime 17-17, New Orleans and Las Vegas. What can we take from this weekend? It was injury week. And it affected mine and yours personal in the Sunday Stroll fantasy league. Both of our running backs went down. Mine for the season, yours for 6 to 8 weeks. So, you were just reading off a few injuries before the show, man. Golly. Ton of guys out.
Yeah, man. Black Sunday. Black Sunday is what we're going to call it. You, of course, got Saquon in our Sunday Stroll league. Done for the year. I got McCaffrey out 4 to 6 weeks. Like you said, Jimmy Garoppolo went down. Bosa also went down for San Fran. Raheem Mostert went down for San Fran. There's tons of issues with that turf up there. I know I saw Shanahan kind of kind of bring it up the New York turf up there, and they've got to play again. They've got to play the Jets. I think this coming week. But yeah, man, tons of injuries. Tyrod Taylor, kind of a surprise. We got to see the rookie QB in for the Chargers. Herbert looked really good, I thought. The Falcons find new and unusual ways to lose games. That's my Falcons for you. Um, Titans played well without Derrick Henry playing well, which is kind of a surprise. Philly continues to struggle. So yeah, man, there's a lot going on in the NFL right now, but definitely the big takeaway from this past week was injuries. Devontae Adams also left early with an injury, which is obviously a huge one for fantasy purposes. But yeah, man, to circle back around to who you closed out with, Mr. Wilson, Russell Wilson, their hashtag letting Russ cook up there, and he draws a dream matchup against the Dallas Cowboys team that has not been able to stop anybody this week. So he'll be at the top of the slate on DraftKings, but definitely a guy you want to look at because the Cowboys are just hemorrhaging fantasy points to quarterbacks right now, and Wilson is dominating. So that's kind of my takeaways from week 2. Anything jump out for you?
I mean, I watched almost all of the entirety of the Falcons Cowboys. As a matter of fact, I turned it off with 6 minutes to go. Falcons dominated that game. And I mean, the first 4 series they had turnovers. I mean, they were punching balls out. The Cowboys look terrible. I'm sorry, they are terrible, and and it looks like they're more terrible behind the scenes than they are on the scenes. They actually, once they get going offensively, it look pretty darn good. I don't know if it's the line. I don't know if it's fundamentals. I don't know if it's not having any practice before now, or I don't know. But they did not look good Sunday, even though they came away with a 40-39 win. I'll tell you a couple of bright spots, though, in the NFL. Joe Burrows is the real deal. He is the real deal.
I agree.
Cincinnati's going to mess that up, I'm sure. But,
I agree. Also agree.
Just like they did with
every player ever.
Also, just like they did with the guy from USC that played quarterback there. It was so good, and he got hurt. I can't remember his name.
Carson Palmer.
Carson Palmer. There you go. They're going to screw this up too. And Justin Herbert. I was told that the T is silent from Oregon. Isn't that where he played, Oregon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing now for the Los Angeles Chargers. He might be the real deal, Joe. And a lot of teams passed on him in the draft. He looked pretty solid. Over 300 yards passing. Suspect offensive line out there. A lot of weapons, though, around him. He looked good. What do you think? Did you get to see any of that? I know you probably didn't because it really wasn't on TV. But
I got to watch just a little bit. I tried to watch the red zone, and they were, obviously it's just kind of in and out. But I thought he looked well. What I seen, he looked really, really good. Looked confident out there. Seemed to handle it as a last minute thing. There was a Tyrod Taylor. Something happened in pregame warmups, and he wasn't able to go. So it kind of a last minute start, no notice. Got thrown into the fire against the defending Super Bowl champs, and the kid went out there and played great. The Chargers actually led for the big part of that game before going into overtime. But yeah, I was really impressed with Burrow. Like you said, I think he's a real deal. Though I'm not super pumped about the team he's on because they seem to find ways to mess up careers. But really impressed with Burrow. Fought hard there. He's going to put some big fantasy numbers up this year, I think. And as far as the Cowboys, I think that offense is as well. But there's definitely some issues there. I was never a huge fan of the Mike McCarthy hire. I think it definitely was time to move on from Jason Garrett. Seemed like he had went as far as he could go with them. So they brought McCarthy in to try to take them to that next level, that Super Bowl winning level. But we also got to remember this is a guy that couldn't win consistently with Aaron Rodgers the last couple of years he was in Green Bay. So pretty much alienated Rodgers and basically lost the team there at the end. So we have to wonder what's going on there in Dallas. Even though I do like their talent on offense, their defense is not stopping anyone. So these guys on the offensive side of the ball are going to be forced to be aggressive. I think Dak and Elliott and these receivers are going to continue to put up huge numbers all year. I absolutely loved that game last week. Stacked it in DFS, pretty much any combination you can think of. I like the Falcons' offense as well, and they've got a horrible defense, which also helps the offense. So that's kind of my takeaways from week 2, man.
Yeah, so the rookie Lamb, I think his name 88, plays for Dallas. He
CD,
showed out.
yeah, yeah, really talented player. Had a great career at Oklahoma. A lot of people thought he'd be the first receiver taken in the draft this past year, and Dallas was kind of gifted when he slid to them. I think they were even surprised that he was still available, and I think he's going to be a really good player. Seen some talented young receivers out there, and I think Lamb's certainly one of them. Another rookie that played well is Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Colts. Marlon Mack's out for the year. Taylor jumped right in there, man, played really, really well. So he's definitely a fantasy asset, DFS play going forward. He's going to catch some balls out of the backfield, which always helps. And it seems like they're confident in him, man. He got a lot of runs Sunday, so he's a couple of rookies to keep your eye on there.
Yeah, so I didn't get to see what happened in Jacksonville, Tennessee. I know Tennessee was dominating that game. Then all of a sudden, usually when they get later on in the game, Tennessee, puts people away. But I guess Minshew mania is not letting them. He's not letting them go down, is he?
Minshew's playing well, man. He's fighting. I mean, he really is fighting his tail off out there. The Titans jumped on him early, really, with the pass game. Johnny Smith had a big game, the tight end. A.J. Brown was out, so Corey Davis had a solid game. And, yeah, like you said, Tennessee kind of their signature is getting a lead and then just letting Derrick Henry salt it away. And Henry's pretty ineffective. Jacksonville had a good game plan to stop him. Kind of made Ryan Tannehill beat him, which he was able to do, but not necessarily how you expect the Titans to win games, but it worked for them. So hopefully they'll get Henry going forward. But he was pretty ineffective against Jacksonville Sunday.
Yeah. I mentioned the Detroit Lions not going to have a coach or GM. They have put probably the worst product I've seen in a long time on the field here recently. Bad to watch. Plus, I've also heard that Aaron Rodgers is on a show out year. I mean, it's kind of behind the scenes been said that he's gonna show out all year because after them trading up to draft that quarterback. But
right.
I mean, once again, like I said, if you just see these first 3 quarters of Detroit play, you would think this team wins 10 games every year. They're up 14-0 or 14-3 on Green Bay and just ended up losing by 21. So
Minnesota too, man. Another team in that division that is surprisingly 0-2, and that Colts game this week 2, it was never really close. Minnesota was never really in that game, so kind of surprised to see the Vikings open 0-2, a team that a lot of people had a great year last year, and a team a lot of people like coming into this year.
Yeah, watching a little bit of football yesterday and really the first week, and then turn on Sunday Night Football, watch the first quarter before I went upstairs and went to bed. It's different when you see 2 good teams and 2 bad teams. It's so different. I mean, yeah, I know any given Sunday, any team can win any time. When you see 2 well-coached teams like you saw last night, you're just like, man, this cream,
Yeah.
It's just there's a dispersionally different between a good team and a bad team in the NFL. I think, obviously Kansas City, obviously even Tennessee or the 2 teams last night, San Francisco, maybe. I don't know about San Francisco now with the injuries they got.
Bosa out as well for them.
Yeah. Or even like Buffalo, even, a well-coached, good defense team runs the ball, has a decent passing game. And then you watch
Diggs had a monster game yesterday, man. I love Josh Allen. A huge fan of Josh Allen. Love watching him play. He makes some mistakes, but really exciting player to watch. And Diggs had a monster game for him yesterday. So yeah, the Bills are definitely a team to keep an eye on in that division.
But I mean, you look like somebody like Chicago Bears 2-0. They're terrible.
Right. Yeah,
They're
I
a
agree.
terrible football team, and they're 2-0. They almost lost that game yesterday to the Giants, up
Yeah.
17-0 or 17-3, whatever it was, and still almost lost. I don't know. It's football. It's the hardest league to handicap, hardest league to tell what's going to happen. And it did not disappoint yesterday. It did not disappoint week one. Anything going forward you want to talk about with the NFL as far as, we didn't even mention this next week, but.
Yeah, just I think there are clearly a couple teams that stick out to me as being the best, looking the best right now. Kansas City didn't look great against the Chargers, but got the win. But I think you definitely have to put them near the top. And also, I don't think we've talked about them here tonight, but the Baltimore Ravens continue to be extremely impressive to me. Handled Houston no trouble at all. Lamar Jackson looks great. Their record with him as a starter is like something ridiculous. So I think you definitely got to keep an eye on the Ravens going forward. They'll be hard to handle. And the Steelers kind of look like the Steelers again with Big Ben back in there. Juju is playing well, having a nice bounce back year so far. And Deontay Johnson is a player on that team that's kind of in Juju's old role that I think will be a good fantasy player going forward at wide receiver. But yeah, man, there's still long way to go. I think there's already a couple of offenses sticking out and defenses as well that we want to target. In DraftKings, certainly Dallas and Atlanta are in that conversation. Seattle's offense looks really, really good. Russell Wilson and Metcalf and those guys look really good. Philly still continuing to struggle, kind of sticks out, but. Yeah, other than that, man, not a whole lot to cover. Also, really like Arizona. Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins continue to roll out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Teams I'm really down on: Detroit, like I said. Chicago's terrible at 2-0. Minnesota looks terrible. Indianapolis, we don't know about. Houston is terrible. They got no identity on offense. Their defense is on the field too long. They need to decide if they're going to go with the shotgun or if they're going to run the ball. They have no idea. They have no idea up there. Next week, Sunday Night Football, New Orleans hosting Green Bay, Kansas City at Baltimore. Should be a good way to finish the weekend next week after golf's off. So,
for sure, man.
That's about it. A bunch of injuries. Fade basically. Atlanta and Dallas's defense, fade them. Detroit has their whole secondaries injured right now, along with Galladay still working on their working on that hamstring issue. So Detroit's terrible, and they're going to Arizona, play an electrifying offense that throws it all over the map. So the NFL's the NFL. It's always going to be top dog, So
yeah,
that's all I got. That's about all I got, Joe. You got anything else in the hopper you want to talk about?
Me too, man. Doing an article over at Rotoballer. Those of you that watch our golf pod are familiar with them, and I'm doing a weekly article over there called Break the Slate. It's a DraftKings picks article, so I hope you guys will check that out. It's free. You don't have to sign up or anything. You can just follow me on Twitter, Rotoballer on Twitter. I usually try to get that up on Friday mornings, so hope you'll check that out. We nailed it last week. Had a really good write-up. Had Dak, Josh Allen, Aaron Jones, who we didn't mention, I don't think, but had a monster game. So definitely go check that out and like and subscribe this pod on YouTube. We definitely appreciate that. I know Andrew does as well. So thank you guys for watching football and golf and any other sport we decide to do.
That's right, buddy. You've listened to the Turn Fantasy Golf Podcast, Sunday Stroll Edition. I'm Andrew Putter. That's Joe Nicely. Signing off. See y'all.
See ya.
And go, go.